Fellas, we are looking at Sandbox 2.2.0. Yes, this update is live today, and there is a ton of changes here. So this one's going to be a long one. So bear with us here, boys. First up, we're talking about clans. The daily clan bounties have been removed. Once again, clan XP in Season 6 can be earned simply by completing activities. Clan weekly bounties have been renamed to Hawthorne bounties to differentiate them from the raid challenges that are also in Hawthorne's inventory. Thank you. There was definitely some confusion there. I'm glad that they're actually separating the two. These Hawthorne bounties are organized into three fixed categories: PvE, PvP, and raid. Raid challenge bounties will continue to be available on Hawthorne for the Last Wish and Score to the Past raids. Some new clan perks though have been added for Season 6, and some old clan perks have returned. So for level 2, we get an increase in public event rewards. For level 3, completing a weekly Hawthorne bounty awards mod components. Ooh, okay. Level 4, completing a clan vendor challenge awards enhancement course. Man, this better be a pretty decent amount, like at least 10 or 15. Level 5, increase the drop rate of Crucible and Strike Catalyst when playing with clanmates. Boys, that's the big one. I still haven't gotten Wrist Runner Catalyst, and I'm really hoping this clan perk will fix that. Level 6 perk unlocks an additional weekly bounty for Hawthorne. I kind of felt like, you know, the level 6 perk could have been something a little spicier. Now moving on to Sandbox. This is the big one. Shotguns. Full auto trigger system rate of fire bonus reduced from 100% to 10%. Full auto trigger system no longer increases shotgun pellet spread. All shotguns received a damage multiplier in PvE, effectively doubling their damage with the exception of Legend of Accurus. Reserve ammunition for shotguns has been reevaluated to compensate for the increased damage. Reduced base damage for shotguns across the board to align with their new rate of fires on a per sub-archetype basis. Rate of fire values have been tuned. Aggressive frame is now 55 rounds per minute instead of 45. Precision is now 65 instead of 55. Lightweight remains at 80 rounds per minute. Rapid fire frame is now 140 rounds per minute, including the intrinsic full auto perk. This is actually down from 200 rounds per minute. Chaperone is now 70 rounds per minute. This is up from 60. Tractor cannon is 80 rounds per minute. Legend of Accurus is now 55 rounds per minute, up from 45. Okay, they have not said anything about shotgun range in these Sandbox details yet. I'm assuming we're going to see it at some point. If not, we will say a few things. Submachine guns. Base damage increased slightly. Okay. Precision damage decreased slightly. What? Alright, we're gonna have to reevaluate what slight means in Bungie terms. Trace rifles got a PvE damage increase by 30%. Good lord, that's gonna be nasty, man. We were talking about Prometheus lens yesterday with the new armor setups. It is gonna be disgusting inside of Gambit Prime. Moving on to grenade launchers. They got a PvE damage increase by 25%. Reserve ammo increase on most grenade launchers. They say that in most cases, grenade launchers gain 3 rounds in reserves, but this amount may vary based on the perks you have, field prep, etc. Known issue. Starting ammo in PvE was reduced. This will be fixed in a future patch. Okay, I guess there's a bug going on with grenade launchers. Magazine perks and mods no longer affect ammo reserves. The quick access sling mod can now be applied to any archetype. This change also allows it to be applied to mountaintop. Boys, I don't think you realize how nasty mountaintop is about to be simply by adding this one mod to it. Note, this change also fixes the malicious birthright being able to slot the backup mag mod. This mod did not actually increase the magazine size on the weapon and was not intended to be applied to breach loaded grenade launchers. Alright then. Rocket launchers. PvE damage increased by 60 to 65%. Cluster Bomb, though, has got a damage reduction by 80%. They go on to state that this lost damage was moved to the rocket launcher's main projectile. You know, I really wonder how impact casing is going to be affected by this one. Somebody in the comments that is very familiar with rocket launchers and PvE, feel free to let us know. Linear fusion rifles. PvE damage increased by 10%, does not affect Sleeper Simulant. Reduced aim assist. Removed aim assist bonus from combat sight scope. Oh, wow. That's interesting. That's essentially the low zoom scope on Queenbreakers, the one that has the faster charge up time. Removing aim assist bonus from it though. Oh wow. They go on to say that they fixed an issue where Queenbreaker had doubled the amount of aim assist. Two-tailed fox has got a PvE damage increase by 26%. Hot damn it, boys. So you're telling me two-tailed fox has got a 26% increase in damage, as well as a 60 to 65% increase in damage with other rocket launchers? All right then, two-tailed fox meta it is. 1,000 voices. PvE damage has been increased by 25%. Okay. Alright then, Warcliffe Coil. PvE damage increased by 115% against boss combatants and will scale up to 160% against weaker combatants. What is going on here? I thought they said that they were going to actually bring legendaries more in line with exotics. It's not what I'm seeing. Black Talon got a PvE projectile damage increase by 15%. Sleeper Simulant reduced ammo reserves from a max of 13 to a max of 9 without armor perks or masterwork. I love that Sleeper just constantly keeps getting hit in the mouth. It's like, hey, we haven't seen you in this season, but here's a nerf. Whisper of the Worm reduced ammo reserves from a max of 20 to a max of 9. Holy hell. There it is. There it is right there. There's the nerfs that we're talking about. Tyranny of Heaven. The Tyranny of Heaven bow can now drop with randomized perks. That's so random. Of all the things they could have included. Now, moving on to the section General Weapons and Perk Fixes. Oh, okay then. Trinity Ghoul fixed an issue where Trinity Ghoul's Lightning Rod perk sometimes did not activate on Precision Kill. They also state that they fixed an issue where the arc effects from the Split Electron perk on Trinity Ghoul could be seen floating in third person. Improve the resolution for the decals on the Two-Tailed Fox Cuddly Throwback Ornament when seen in third person. These are so random. I don't even know if we need to go through all of them. We're going to continue. Fix an issue where the last words Laconic Ornament did not display properly in third person. Cleaned up the animation of round cycling in the magazine for the Dread Adventures over and done with Ornament. Rapid Hit. Fix an issue where Rapid Hit would activate twice on a sniper rifle precision kill. I didn't even know that was a thing, but okay. Fix an issue where the timer for Rapid Hit times 5 would not extend after another precision hit. Now, all bullcrap aside, guys, Rapid Hit is probably one of the best perks in the game to get on any of your weapons. So if this is going to be a buff here in terms of extending that time frame, I'm all for it. Swords. Fix an issue where Whirlwind Blade could not reach 5 stacks with certain perk combinations. Thank you. Fix an issue where Sword Impact Masterwork damage was the same at tier 7 and tier 8. Didn't even realize, but okay. Fix an issue where certain perks, mods, and Masterwork combination would cause sword perks to not function on Striker's Sure Hand. Well, it was definitely the Masterwork that would go above tier 9 that would cause it to break. But okay, as long as it's fixed, I'm cool with it. Bows. Fix an issue where Le Monarch would not always apply poison at long distances. Thank God! This is one of my favorite bows in the game. It needs to always apply poison when you land those precision shots. Le Monarch is now correctly on the energy tab in the collection screen. High tension string perk description updated to correctly reflect that it greatly increases accuracy. Now next up, Jotun's charge shot perk description has been updated with instructions for what to hold to charge up the shot. You know, that's good on Bungie, man. Sometimes you just don't know how to hold it. You know what I mean? And having a good instruction panel there to show you how to hold it, that's top notch. Good stuff, Bungie. Fix an issue where Dragonfly Spec was not functioning correctly under certain latency conditions. Fix an issue impacting Izanagi's burden scope where the FX from abilities or invading and Gambit would block visibility while aiming. Dude, I had that happen to me yesterday. I honestly thought my monitor was possessed. Moving on to the Long Shadow, which is a sniper. Fix an issue where the ATD Raptor scope did not highlight enemies. This fix caused another issue where the ATB long range scope will highlight enemies as well. This will be fixed in a future update. So I guess we're gonna have 2 scopes that can highlight enemies. Okay. Fix an issue where the random perk warning was not displayed on the tooltips for the random roll versions of Criminal's Dagger and Hero's Burden. Now moving on to Memento Mori. Fix an issue where the Ace of Spades perk Memento Mori did not refresh when using Hunter's Marksman dodge ability. Fix an issue where Memento Mori was canceled prematurely if the player sprinted. Note, these fixes make it so that reloading Ace of Spades no longer wipes Memento Mori on reload, but you can still refresh Memento Mori when reloading after a kill. Alright then. Breach Load grenade launchers now have their own icon in the kill feed and obituary to differentiate them from drum grenade launchers. Trench Barrel will now activate on close range ball lightning attacks, which cause the biped to lunge. Alright then, now moving into abilities. Titan. Reduce Titan's max speed that can be achieved via use of macros on PC, aka reduce the effectiveness of Titan skating. Tune the amount of super gain from the Code of the Juggernaut so that the super cannot be used indefinitely. I figured something like that was going to happen, guys, considering we're about to be playing a horde mode. That super would have lasted the entire time. This now has diminishing returns, 100% to 30% energy back over the course of 15 kills. Kind of a bummer, not gonna lie to you. Warlock. Fixed an issue where the handheld supernova did not properly render while invading in Gambit. Alright then. Armor. Year 2 armor will now drop with a random stat package. Heavy, restorative, or mobile. Am I lost here, guys? I thought it already did that, but okay. One eye mask. The mark duration reduced from 15 seconds to 8 seconds. Health no longer restores automatically, but restores alongside the overshield and can no longer be triggered while in your super. One eye mask is definitely not going to be nearly as strong as what it was, but there's going to be some people that still use it. Me personally, I'm probably just going to go back to Doom Archers. I like to move fast, boys. Capri's Horn. Oh my god, I heard that they were going to buff this. Increase class energy gain from solar damage kills from 10% to 15% and reduce the cooldown from 2 seconds to 1 second. Solar Blast ground follow now returns a second ground follow back toward the player. Now the damage from that ground follow has been increased from 80 to 100. So if you have a guardian standing in front of you and you hit him with full force of Capri's Horn's Hellfire and they continue to stand in the exact same location and the flame comes back and it hits them yet again, they will be dead. Now the damage from the ground follow has been doubled inside of PvE. Well, Capri's Horn is, yeah. It may just be the deadliest exotic to ever walk Destiny. Vesper of Radius. Damage increased from 70 to 100. Damage has now been tripled inside of PvE. So for the 2.5 people that still main Vesper of Radius, you're welcome. Sealed a Hopkara's Grass. Hamkara now procs from smoke bomb damage. Alright then, we had a build called Wave 1000 Reloads. Now we'll be able to use it here with smokes. Ursa Furiosa no longer counts self-damage to Void Shield when calculating how much super energy to give back. I didn't even know we could do self-damage, but okay then. Antaeus Wards. Fixed an issue where improved slide was not consistently applying the Antaeus Wards. Well, I wouldn't even say it wasn't applying it, it was just a combination of slide distance being cut in half and there being a delay. If the mechanic was changed just slightly to where Antaeus Wards would activate on every slide. Nah, that'd be too nasty. Accessory fixes. Those are the accessory fixes. I'm not even gonna read them. If you care about looks, you'll be happy to know that these are now fixed. Now moving on to rewards, the power cap has now been raised to 700. Powerful bounties may give only a maximum possible power reward from the season in which they were acquired. Powerful bounties completed in Season of the Forge may only reach a maximum power reward of 650. Iron Banner bounties have been expired, and Last Wish raid keys now have a maximum stack size of 5. Destinations. Destination vendors no longer display a waypoint when holding enough materials for reputation package. Thank God. Dude, my UI is so cluttered. This was done as players now use destination materials for infusion. Oh, okay. Crucible. Updated Valor and Glory emblems to track only the current season's rank accomplishments. Previous season accomplishments have been added as triumphs. All seasonal rank accomplishments will be tracked as triumphs from here on. Alright then. Vendors. Shacks. Reprise seated rolled weapons for players to earn via Valor rank. Players who acquire the original version will be able to earn this weapon with random rolls from Ingram Decryption without earning the Valor rank. New emblem for players to earn from Triumph completion. Reprise shader for players to earn from Triumph completion. Players who earn the original will not need to re-earn this shader. New pinnacle weapon quests. Feature Triumph's completion steps similar to Season 5's The Mountaintop Quests. Drifter. New seated roll weapon for players to earn via Infamy rank. New emblem for players to earn from the Triumph completion. New pinnacle weapon quest. Features Triumph completion steps similar to Season 5's The Mountain Quest. Zavala. Reprise seated roll weapon for players to earn from Triumph completion. Players who acquire the original version will be able to earn this weapon with random rolls from Ingram Decryption without completing the Triumph. New emblem for players to earn from Triumph completion. Reprise shader for players to earn from Triumph completion. Players who earn the original will not need to re-earn this shader. New pinnacle weapon quest. Features Triumph completion steps similar to Season 5's The Mountaintop Quest. And Xur. Xur has now a possibility of selling Forsaken exotics. Faded Ingram does not have a chance for Forsaken exotics though, will be updated in a future patch. Now the rest of these notes inside of the Sandbox update are just fixes. They're like little small fixes that people are probably ran into. Feel free to check them out guys if you want to know, but we're going to go ahead and skip to Gambit, which is the activities portion of today's update. Activities hosted by the Drifter have been moved to their own subpage on the director called Gambit. Added Gambit Prime matches for all Forsaken owners. Expect Gambit Prime private matches on April 2nd, 2019. Overhauled how invader spawn points are chosen, while also significantly increasing the number of invader spawn points for each map. Chances of spawning very near or direct line of sight of an enemy guardian has been greatly reduced. changed the third round of Gambit to a Primeval Rush Sudden Death. This will speed up Gambit matches overall and add a change of pace to the final round. The Primeval is immediately summoned. Players' super grenades and abilities are immediately filled, so both teams are on an even playing field. Super grenade ability and melee regeneration are increased for the remainder of the round. Wow, that third round sounds pretty nasty. The Ascendant Primeval Servitor, which is also known as Meatball, spawn rate is no longer tied to the curse cycle and has been greatly increased. Oh, good stuff. I think Malfeasance is really going to be nasty in this season, boys, so I would highly advise getting it. Idle Protection. Players who remain dormant for too long will not receive end of the match rewards or infamy points. They also made adjustments to the blocker types by deposit here. Small blocker is now a Taken Goblin, which has less health than the previous Phalanx. Medium blocker is a Taken Captain with more health than the previous Knight. Large blocker is a Taken Knight with more health than the previous Ogre. So a lot more emphasis here on hanging on to those moats. Gambit matchmaking. Teams are now always broken up when re-entering the matchmaking pool after a match. Alright. Previously, when a match ended, players who did not return to orbit would be sent back to the matchmaking pool together. This is no longer the case. This will greatly reduce the likelihood of rematching against the same players and will give matchmaking an opportunity to find the best possible match. Infamy. Players can now earn infamy points by completing Gambit Prime matches and bounties. Increase the infamy point rewards for Gambit matches by 25 points. The Gambit HUD. The HUD status bars now animate when returning from aim down sights. The Invader Portal Ready icon and animation on the status bar has been updated to be more pronounced and understandable at a glance. Now, they've also fixed some triumphs here. The light versus light can now be progressed by killing any guardian, not just invaders, using a super. They also state that the first to block medal can now trigger once per round, whereas previously it can only trigger once per match. Now, a bunch of general fixes here, nothing super substantial, like some graphical errors that they fix. But again, if you want to check those out, feel free to check the link below. Now, moving on to Eververse, they've actually taken the prismatic matrix out. They've retired it. I believe what there's going to be is a set of items on rotation. I don't really know the time frame on when it actually rotates, but this will allow you to buy those items directly. So overall, guys, the things that were not included in today's patch, I did not see that overall range reduction in shotguns. That doesn't mean that there hasn't been a range nerf to shotguns. We'll have to get in there and test it out. They might have just left it off the patch notes. We'll tweet it out to Bungie here later this afternoon. Another thing that didn't include was that Antaeus wards was cutting down on slide distance. Now, they did mention that they're going to fix Antaeus wards not consistently activating, which is great, but I definitely want to see the slide distance working the way it's supposed to work with these exotics. Well, that is Sandbox 2.2.0. We'll be covering everything in more depth today, guys, as well as Gambit Prime itself. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.